A strong mind is not something you are born with, it is something you develop over time, and it has the power to change. Have you ever observed a tree standing in the midst of a storm? The wind might shake its branches, bend its trunk, and scatter its leaves in all directions. Yet if its roots are deep and firmly grounded, it will not fall. Some people are like that. Life hits them hard with pain, uncertainty, and chaos, but still they do not collapse. They may bend, but they do not break. They breathe through the storm and remain standing. What is it that gives them this quiet strength? It is not talent. It is not about how much knowledge they possess or how fortunate they've been. It is something more sacred, something cultivated from within. It is the strength of the mind. Mental resilience does not announce itself loudly, it doesn't shout. Instead, in its quiet way, it offers protection. It observes the heart when emotions surge like waves. It keeps you grounded when the world pulls at you from every angle. Most importantly, it enables you to walk through suffering without becoming defined by it. In Buddhism, this strength is not a mysterious force. Rather, it is a discipline grounded in awareness, compassion, and clarity. But here is something that often goes unnoticed. Habit 1. Releasing the weight of a negative mind. Mental strength is not only built through the things we do, it is also quietly broken down by the things we repeat. In this video, we will explore 6 surprising habits that silently weaken your mind. These habits are so common and so subtle that we often do not realize just how deeply they shape our lives. Through the teachings of Buddhism, we will learn how to recognize these harmful patterns, let them go, and begin to rebuild a mind that is calm, focused, and truly unshakable. Stay with me because the final lesson may be the one that unlocks everything. It holds the key to a kind of freedom and peace that you may not have known was possible. If you have ever felt trapped by negativity, burdened by self-doubt, or weighed down by your past, then this journey is for you. Together we will not just learn how to endure life, we will learn how to transform the way we experience it. Are you ready to take the first step toward cultivating a steadier, stronger mind? Let's imagine walking through the world wearing a veil of shadow, not because the world around you is dark, but because the lens through which you see it has been clouded. A blooming flower loses its vibrant color. A smile feels distant and unfamiliar. Joy becomes something you only observe from behind a pane of glass. This is the quiet toll of a negative mindset. It does not shout or demand attention, yet it shapes every moment of your life, turning possibility into hesitation and beauty into burden. In the teachings of the Buddha, the mind is often compared to a mirror, naturally clear and luminous. But when we allow feelings like anger, doubt, or despair to settle on it, that clarity begins to fade. The mirror does not break, it simply waits to be cleaned. Thoughts, like clouds in the sky, are not permanent. They pass, shift, and eventually dissolve. The real danger lies not in having a negative thought, but in believing that the thought defines who you are. To release this weight, one of the most compassionate and powerful practices is called metta-paravana, or loving-kindness meditation. You start by offering gentle, sincere wishes to yourself. May I be peaceful. May I be well. Then, like ripples on a pond, you extend that kindness outward to a loved one, to a stranger, even to someone who has caused you pain. This practice is not a sign of weakness. It is a quiet strength. It is the strength of a mind choosing healing over hatred. The modern world often floods us with reasons to be cynical, skeptical, and mistrustful. Yet through this ancient practice, we find a path back to openness, compassion, and peace. Habit 2. Stop complaining about what you can't control. News cycles seem to echo suffering, social spaces amplify comparison, and your own inner voice often turns harsh. But consider this. Does carrying this heaviness ease your journey, or does it only weigh you down? Buddhism teaches impermanence, not as a distant idea, but as a living truth. Everything we experience, joy, sorrow, triumph, and loss, is always in motion. Even your darkest thoughts are merely visitors, they are not your identity. So when the mind starts to spiral, observe, don't resist the thought, but greet it with gentle awareness. Then ask yourself, what is still good in this moment? Perhaps it is the softness of the morning light, the steady rhythm of your breath, or a single kind memory. These small recognitions are not escapes, they are anchors, helping you return to the present with clarity. Letting go of negativity is not a denial of life's real pains, rather it is an act of deep honesty, choosing to see what is truly there, instead of seeing the world through a filter of fear. A calm mind does not ignore suffering, it transforms it. When you release the stories that keep you bound, you make room for wisdom to emerge. Like a sky that clears after a storm, your mind reveals its true nature when you let the clouds pass. Habit 2 is about surrender, releasing the habit of complaining about what you cannot control. Imagine holding a burning coal, convinced it will hurt someone else, but every moment you cling to it, it only burns your own hand. That's the nature of complaint. When you grumble about things beyond your control, the weather, the past, the actions of others, it's you who suffers most. It feels natural to resist and push back against life's tides. But this resistance only drains your spirit and entangles your mind in unnecessary pain. In Buddhist philosophy, true strength begins with acceptance, not with giving up, but with choosing to stop fighting what cannot be changed. The Buddha once compared life's difficulties to 2 arrows. The first arrow is the hardship itself, a delay, a disappointment, a loss. The second arrow is the extra suffering we add with our reaction. While you can't always choose the first, you can choose to lay down the second. Complaining, then, is like firing that second arrow into your own heart again and again. Imagine a rainy day. You could shout at the sky, blame the clouds, wish desperately for sunshine, or you could quietly open your umbrella, walk more slowly, and let the sound of the rain become your teacher. Acceptance does not mean you enjoy every storm, but it does mean you don't waste your peace by fighting what is. The world will not always rearrange itself for your comfort, but your mind can find peace in accepting what is true. So much modern frustration comes from this single habit. When you surrender the need to complain about what cannot be controlled, you set yourself free. Habit 3. Speak with the courage of your true self. So much of our struggle comes from focusing on what is outside our control. We blame, we resist, and we become stuck in endless loops of mental noise. But rather than pulling tighter on this knot of frustration, imagine slowly loosening it, one gentle breath at a time. Close your eyes for a moment and picture your challenge as a tangled rope. Every complaint, every moment of resistance pulls the strands tight. Patience and clarity, however, allow the knot to slowly unwind. When life puts you in situations you cannot change, being stuck in traffic, waiting in a long line, dealing with plans gone awry, let these become your practice ground. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, and repeat to yourself, I release what I cannot change. Allow these words to soften your grip and offer you refuge. This practice is not a sign of weakness, but of living wisdom. True mental strength doesn't come from forcing the world to bend to your will, but from meeting life's challenges with presence and awareness. When you stop pouring energy into resistance, you reclaim that energy for peace, creativity. Suddenly, the moments you once dreaded may reveal hidden blessings, a much-needed pause, a lesson you overlooked, a gentle shift in your path. Releasing the habit of complaint is like dropping a burning coal, a gesture not because the world has changed, but because you have. In that act of letting go, healing begins. Habit 3 is about speaking with the courage of your true self. Within each of us lies a quiet treasure, a unique voice, a feeling, a personal truth, just waiting to be expressed. Too often this treasure stays hidden, concealed by silence, politeness, fear, or the urge to fit in. Suppressing what is real and true may feel protective in the short term, but over time it becomes a weighted burden, clouding the mind, straining the heart. Imagine a chest of precious jewels, locked away in total darkness. Without the light, their beauty remains forever unseen. This is precisely what happens when you hold back your authentic self. In Buddhist teachings, there is a path called right speech, not simply about speaking, but about communicating with awareness. To share your truth with honesty, kindness, and purpose isn't just about being factual, it's about being whole. Holding back your emotions might help you avoid temporary discomfort, but it quietly corrodes your peace. Like a volcano simmering beneath the surface, silence can eventually erupt, sudden and painful. Mental strength begins with the willingness to meet your inner world fully. Start not by listening to others, but by tuning in to yourself. What is rising in your heart right now? What truth have you neglected, softened, or silenced? Even the act of writing your feelings down, in solitude, can be deeply healing. Each word offers clarity, helping to lift the fog of confusion and allowing you to live with courageous authenticity. Habit 4. The freedom in owning your path. Letting go of blame. Journaling is not about constructing flawless sentences, it's a way to give your mind the space it needs to breathe and process your inner world. When it comes time to share your true voice with others, take a pause. Ask yourself, are my words rooted in compassion? Are they true? Will they foster understanding, or might they unintentionally cause harm? This is the mindfulness of speech, not about censoring yourself, but about bringing awareness into every exchange. With this mindful approach, ordinary conversations turn into bridges of connection instead of walls of distance. You might even find that honest, genuine expression brings others closer, not farther away. In today's digital landscape, it's easy to present a curated, polished, and safe version of yourself, one that fulfills expectations but may hide your true essence. Beneath the surface, behind screens and rehearsed smiles, there is a deep human longing to truly be seen and to be real. One sincere message, one honest conversation, can touch a life in ways you may never fully realize. Vulnerability, when expressed with thoughtful care, becomes a gift to others, never a weakness. While it may feel exposing at first, and carry the fear of being misunderstood, speaking your truth with kindness is not arrogance, it is living in integrity. You are not responsible for how others receive your honesty, only for offering it with genuine intention. As the Buddha taught, words planted with love grow into forests of understanding and gardens of trust. Expressing yourself authentically means honoring your thoughts, not hiding them, but embracing them as sacred parts of your humanity. When you open up to your inner voice, clarity, connection, healing, and the courage to live fully awake follow. Lesson 4 is about the freedom you gain from owning your path, letting go of blame. Visualize yourself walking up a steep hill with a heavy sack of stones strapped to your back. Each stone represents a story of blame, a time you pointed a finger outward instead of looking inward. Every step feels heavier, not because of the hill's incline, but because of what you're carrying. This is what happens when we cling to blame. Our journey slows, our strength fades. Buddhist wisdom addresses this through the law of karma, not as a simple system of reward or punishment, but as a mirror reflecting back the energy you put into the world. It teaches that it is our own actions, not those of others, which shape the landscape of our lives. When we hold others responsible for our pain, we surrender our own agency. It's the difference between saying, "I am stuck because they built the wall," and asking, "How can I climb it, move around it, or build a door through it?" Blame may feel like a momentary release, a way to redirect discomfort, but in reality, it's a trap. It secures us to the past, fosters resentment, and prevents our growth. True strength arises from ownership. When you reclaim responsibility for your journey, you lighten your load. You move from being a passive recipient of circumstance to an active participant in shaping your life. This ownership is freedom. The power to change your story begins the moment you stop holding others accountable for your happiness or suffering and start walking your own path. Habit 5. Transform imagination into purposeful vision. Transformation doesn't arise from self-blame, but from honest reflection. When you can say, "This is where I am, and here's what I can do about it," you ignite an inner spark that leads to genuine change. Let's put this into practice. Think about someone who has hurt you, someone you may have blamed, over and over in your mind. In Buddhist imagery, this person becomes a stone in your backpack. You carry the weight of their actions with you everywhere, often without them even knowing. Forgiveness, then, is not about absolving them. It's about setting yourself free from that burden. Imagine setting that heavy stone down. How much lighter would you feel? Owning your journey doesn't mean denying the harm you've experienced. It means asking, what can I learn or do to respond wisely? Even small changes like communicating more clearly, setting healthy boundaries, or choosing patience over anger can shift you from the victim narrative to being the hero of your own story. In a world filled with constant noise and quick reactions, it's tempting to project our pain outward. But true courage comes from looking inward. Buddhist teachings encourage self-responsibility, not to induce shame, but to bring liberation. When you understand that you are responsible for your response, you are no longer tethered to someone else's behavior or external circumstances. Life's storms are inevitable, but whether you sink, drift, or sail is a choice you can make. By letting go of blame and taking the wheel, you reclaim your power to steer through chaos, becoming the quiet force, unshaken by waves, guided by awareness, and fortified by the rhythm of your own intentional choices. Lesson 5 is about transforming imagination into purposeful vision. Have you ever found yourself lost in a pleasant daydream, building castles in the sky, imagining a perfect future where success and happiness come effortless? While these fantasies can be soothing and provide momentary pleasure, they are as fleeting as clouds. They drift, dissolve, and leave nothing tangible behind. The trap of fantasizing is that it keeps you suspended, floating in possibility, rather than moving forward in reality. True mental strength lies not in dreaming of outcomes, but in visualizing the journey to get there. Buddhist principles highlight the importance of right intention, aligning your aspirations with deliberate, meaningful actions. Fantasies can be seductive illusions built on wishes alone, but visualization rooted in mindfulness calls for seeing things as they are and charting a real path toward your goals. Imagine someone who dreams of being a musician. They may spend countless hours picturing sold-out concerts and standing ovations, but rarely pick up an instrument. Fantasizing offers the illusion of progress without real effort. Visualization, in contrast, is grounded. It starts with a clear picture of where you want to go, then maps out the actions, discipline, and practice needed to get there. Through this mindful approach, your imagination becomes a guiding light, shaping your dreams into a purposeful, achievable vision. Habit 6. Cultivate deep connections, not just contacts. Visualization teaches us not only to focus on our goals with clarity and intention, but also to recognize the ever-changing relational nature of life. In this spirit, the final habit is to cultivate deep, meaningful connections, not merely contacts or acquaintances. Imagine a quiet garden, once full of color and thriving life. If left without care, no water, no sunshine, no gentle tending, it doesn't die overnight. Instead, it fades slowly, not from lack of beauty but from neglect. Our relationships work the same way. They rarely fall apart in a moment. Rather, they wither when we stop nurturing them. True mental strength is never built entirely alone. It flourishes alongside the bonds that give us warmth, understanding, and a sense of belonging. In Buddhist wisdom, being fully present is not a casual suggestion. It is a path to real awakening. Presence means showing up with your whole heart and mind, not just your body. In an age of endless scrolling and short attention spans, the gift of your undivided attention is a profound act of love. It tells another person, "You matter. I'm truly." Remember the feeling when someone listened to you, really listened, without distraction or judgment. That moment of being seen can heal more than any advice ever could. Real connection doesn't require grand displays or dramatic gesture. It finds life in the small, quiet moments, sharing genuine laughter, sincerely asking how someone is doing, recalling a detail they once mentioned. These everyday acts, when infused with mindfulness and care, form the glue that holds us steady in the chaos of modern life. Buddhist teachings remind us that every interaction is a chance to practice both compassion and awareness. With each encounter, we have the opportunity to offer not just superficial words, but our wholehearted presence. When we connect with intention and kindness, we aren't just uplifting others, we become anchored ourselves. These relationships root us through storms and joys alike, offering strength, comfort, and grounding that strengthens the mind and heart alike. True connection sustains. It means seeing and being seen, listening and being heard, supporting and being supported. It means tending to our shared garden, so that together we can all continue to thrive. Bonus habit: let failure be your fuel, not your fear. We often confuse digital connection with genuine emotional intimacy, but the number of likes or messages you receive will never replace a heart-to-heart conversation or the soothing comfort of shared silence. Despite being more connected than ever before, loneliness is quietly rising, reminding us that having more contacts isn't the same as having meaningful relationships. What truly matters are the few people you can count on, the ones who keep you grounded when everything else feels uncertain. Buddhist wisdom, which highlights the changing nature of life, teaches us to cherish our connections while we can. One day the people we love will live only in our memories, not to frighten us, but to softly remind us to treasure them today. Say the kind words. Forgive often. Make time for that call, that walk, that cup of tea. Presence is a gift we can offer daily, and once it's gone, we often wish we'd given more. Real mental strength doesn't come from toughness or distance, it grows through openness, letting people in and building trust. Our closest relationships reveal our best selves, the strength in our voices, the light in our eyes, and the meaning in our struggles. Like a thriving garden, relationships need care. Nurture them with honesty and attention, and they become places of healing and lifelong strength. Visualize a quiet mountain slope after a wildfire. The trees burned, the earth blackened. At first it appears that everything is lost, but slowly, new life emerges. The soil that seemed devastated now grows stronger, greener, and more resilient. Nature doesn't grieve the fire, it transforms because of it. This is how failure should be viewed in your life, not as an ending, but as the very spark that surfaces your hidden strength. This bonus habit for developing mental strength is simple. Let failure shape you, not break you. In Buddhism, no experience is wasted. Every moment, happiness or sadness, victory or loss, serves your path to awakening. Life doesn't unfold in a straight line. It spirals and returns, letting you re-encounter experiences from a new angle. What feels like a mistake might, in fact, be the exact pressure you needed to evolve, to become more resilient and wiser. Despite this, today's world encourages us to outrun failure, to hide it, cover it up, or bury it beneath a perfect appearance. In doing so, we conceal the very thing that holds our greatest wisdom. Imagine a potter at the wheel. Each time their clay collapses, they don't throw it away, they reform it, learning and adapting until it becomes something truly beautiful. Failure is not a cue to quit, it's an opportunity to begin again, but this time, wiser and stronger. Mental strength isn't cultivated in comfort and ease, it's born of struggle. True resilience is not about never falling down, it's about rising again and again, letting each setback become the fuel that drives you further. By embracing failure as a valuable teacher, you build the unshakable spirit and deep wisdom that lies at the heart of genuine mental strength. Conclusion: how to build unshakable mental strength. Building unshakable mental strength isn't about never falling, it's about learning how to fall, how to root yourself in the present, and how to rise again with something new cultivated inside you. True strength means meeting failure not with self-judgment, but with curiosity and compassion. When setbacks happen, and they will, pause before you react. Don't rush to fix things or escape the discomfort. Instead, take a deep breath and gently ask, what lesson is here for me now? What old story is this experience helping me to rewrite? Trade shame for kindness. Buddhism teaches us to face pain not with harsh judgment, but with gentle awareness. Treat yourself as you would a dear friend in pain, kindly, patiently, and without blame. Take a quiet moment to reflect and write down what you've learned, even if it's just one small realization. Perhaps you notice a weakness to improve, a mistaken belief to release, or a new strength emerging that you hadn't seen before. These are the gifts found only by moving through adversity. With time, you begin to recognize that the strongest parts of yourself aren't forged in comfort. They rise from the ashes of plans gone awry. Just as a forest needs fire to clear space for new growth, you need the transformative fires of failure to burn away illusions and reveal clarity. Don't shy away from your failures. Welcome them. Let them stretch you, reshape you, remove what isn't authentic, and ground you deeper into your most resilient. In the end, mental strength grows not from perfect outcomes, but from the courage to transform failure into growth, over and over again. Remember, mental strength isn't an inborn trait. It's something you build consciously, one mindful habit at a time. In a world that often encourages distraction, noise, and perfectionism, Buddhist wisdom invites us back to simplicity, presence, and inner peace. Letting go of negativity, owning your actions, speaking your truth with kindness, nurturing deep connections, and learning from failure. These aren't just habits, but well-worn paths to authentic freedom. They sweep away mental fog and let you see your life with greater honesty and clarity. Never forget, you are not broken, you are in the process of becoming. Every challenge you face is not the end of your story, but the shaping of it. So take one small step today. Perhaps it's a moment of quiet stillness in the morning, writing out your thoughts, or finally forgiving yourself for something long past. Each gentle step strengthens not only your mind, but also your heart and your enduring spirit. If these words resonated with you, if even one insight felt true to your life, consider joining our community, where we seek to live with depth and if someone you care about might benefit from this message, share it with them, because healing often begins the moment wisdom is shared. Be present, be gentle, be strong. We look forward to seeing you in the next chapter of this journey together.